Okay, so my daughter Twisty, as I refer to her here, wanted a Jaws tumbler. She's just obsessed with Jaws. She loves the old Jaws movies. And so the first thing I'm going to do here after I have spray painted the cup is I'm going to apply the first layer of resin. I'm just going to apply a medium coat. Everybody says to apply a thick coat. You don't need it too thick, you don't need it too thin. Too thick, it's just going to be an awful mess. Too thin, and there's not going to be enough resin there to hold those alcohol inks, and there's going to be dry spots. So you just have to find your perfect balance with this. I'm just putting about, it was one of those whole little cupfuls, which I think is like a couple of tablespoons, and I really didn't even use all of that, but I just applied it generously over the tumbler and smoothed it out. And then we're going to start working with those alcohol inks. And some of the colors I used were, I think it was Baja Blue, and there was like a frosted blue that had kind of a pearl shimmer to it, and then white. And I started with the white and just worked my way all the way down, doing less white as I went down the tumbler. And then I'll start adding the blues about a third of the way down. Or, well, I'm going up in this case. But I don't want it on the top because I want it to have that skyline to it so that I can add the Waterslide decal. And I'm just randomly putting these paints on here until I've got a good mix of what I want. And the idea is to kind of have it look like an ocean with waves tumbling about. So you'll see me do that, and I'll just be quiet for a minute and let y'all watch this process, and then we'll talk about the next step. Now you can see here I'm hitting it with my heat gun, and I'm actually using the lower setting on this heat gun. And I'm just going to keep going until I'm satisfied with how the cup looks. I had a lot of open spaces of white, so I was trying to fill those in. And I do want to add that I don't recommend that heat gun that I have for this process of the tumbler. You need to get one of those that's smaller and specially made for this, and I do plan on doing that. It's just what I bought at the time. I bought it about a year ago when I was still learning this stuff, but it just gets way too hot, and it's too big, it's in the way. But anyway, yeah. Alright, so you're seeing this here. I've let it cure overnight, and I actually had put a second layer of resin on this that I did not film, but now I'm going to try that first Waterslide decal. And I know that it looks pretty good seeing it here on the video, and I noticed that when I was editing this, but it just did not have the look that I liked. I mean, it had edges on it that I felt like were a bit in the way, and when I showed it to Twisty, she didn't like it either. She said it just needs something different. So I'm going to let you watch me play around with about 4 or 5, maybe 6 different Waterslide decals until I got it the way she wanted it. And yeah, really frustrating process in this case. I wasted a lot of ink, a lot of Waterslide paper, but that's how you learn. If you're interested in any of the products that I use in this video, you can find the links in the description box below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I finally found the balance. I found the Waterslide decals that worked for me the way I cut them like that. They had that scrapbook look to them, and that was what Twisty wanted. That's what she liked about it, so that's what I went with. So here we go, and you can see I had quite a bit of practice putting on Waterslide decals and taking them off, so I got pretty good at it here at the end. Didn't have any trouble with it curling up or tearing up or anything like that. So that was the good thing about the process. Now here I am putting that last layer of resin on there, epoxy, after the decals have dried. You do need to let them dry for at least 6 or 7 hours. You know, if you put them out in the sun, that might help speed up that drying process. But you definitely do not want to put the last layer of resin on there when they are still damp, because that's going to cause an even bigger problem. So there it is. That is it. That was a struggle, but I am still learning, and I'm okay with the learning process, because every mistake is a lesson, right, y'all? Peace. Bye-bye.